Assalamualaikum. Welcome back to Chapter 7 SRC 550. So today we are going to learn about how to develop a newsworthy messages. If you want to develop a newsworthy messages, there are also a few things that you need to consider, which is what are the things that make a message is newsworthy. Okay, so without further ado, let's begin. Here are the relevant points to judge the newsworthiness. First is the timeliness. Okay, when we talk about timeliness, it is something about the time of that current news happening. Okay, for example, news is something new, so timeliness is a great factor in deciding the news. People want to know about the current news and not something that happens in the past. For example, an incident that happened 1 month back will not make a news for today's newspaper. Of course, today people want to know about COVID-19. No one wants to know about what happens in the previous days. But yes, I can't mm, I can't say that all news is not worth, but what happens today is something worthy to read rather than what happens in the last month. Okay. Impact. So impact of an event decide whether the news is newsworthy or not, because something that gives a big impact towards a country can give a very good newsworthiness. For example, what happens in America right now due to the kill of a black guy by a white policeman had become a very serious matter discussed all over the world, and it also come out with a caption Black Lives Matter. So this gives a big impact towards everybody in every country, because each and every country has their own problem and face racism problem. So the impact of racism gives newsworthiness to that news. Okay, proximity means the uh, distance of that news. For example, if only COVID only happening in China and does not spread all over the world, it might not be a big news. But now, because COVID had infected all over the world, especially in Malaysia, and it infected so fast, so it had become news. Other than that, controversy is also a relevant point for newsworthiness, because people love controversies. Okay, so anything that happens or related to conflict, arguments, charges, counter charges, fight, tensions, this will become news. For example, you're talking about what is the current law towards drunk driver. Okay, and does the law really help the people who become what we call become the had become the victims of drunk driver? So these are the controversies that nowadays people are talking about, right? So controversies is also relevant point to judge the newsworthiness. Next, prominence. Prominence, it means that if a prominent person is involved in any event, then it becomes news. For example, um, if an ordinary person car break down, of course you have to wait 10 to 11, 30, 40, 50, 1 hour minutes to get the vehicle repaired to, but it makes no news. But if a prime minister's car breaks down and they have to wait about 10 minutes to fix the car, then it becomes news, because there is a prominent person in that news. Okay, it can be celebrities, politicians, any public figures. So prominence. Currency. news is about current events. So right now we're talking about COVID-19. COVID-19 is basically the main event that people talk about. Okay, but also they have few other things that also happens currently, which is the racism, riot in America, terrorism, and then we also, yeah, in Malaysia we have drunk driver, Lati challenge, lots of current news that can be talk about. Okay, and then oddity, odd, something that is unusual. So unusual things will also make an extraordinary news. Okay, emotions, stories which have a good human interest will give a good news item. For example, what Ustaz Abid Liu had done recently, these had become a very good stories. Everyone is talking about how generous Ustaz Abid Liu in helping people all around Malaysia. Okay, emotions. And then we have type of reporting. So type of reporting, there are also different types of news reporting, which is investigative reporting, court reporting, accidents, political, official, business, sports, and specialized reporting. So the reporter or the journalist is someone who is working in order to create or develop a report towards their types of reporting. Okay, so the main function of journalist profession is to report a news. So they need to be energetic because they need to spend long hours in chasing the stories, collecting the facts, and they also need to do investigation. Okay, so that is the role of reporter of journalist. So this is the 5 fundamentals of journalism. First, as a journalist, you need to report the truth. Be very responsible in reporting the truth. Act independently means you have to gather all the information. You have to do the investigation all by yourself. You need to be very transparent. You need to voice out everything. Okay, no secret. Okay, you have to be selectively sensitive. Sometimes, if you are talking about contoh, Lati challenge, it was said that Lati challenge is something um, mirroring the Javanese culture. So when you want to talk about this Lati challenge, you have to be very sensitive about the Islam, and you have to also respect other cultures such as the Javanese culture. Okay, and maybe if there is other religion involved in that challenge, for example, Hindus, so you have to be very selectively sensitive. And then you have to place the ethics of the law. Even it was said that the things that you want to report is not wrong according to the law, but you have to place the ethics. As a human being, should you be doing that? Okay, so you have to do this. And this is the 5 articles of journalism principles. First, you need to be very accurate about what you're trying to say. Independence, you have to be fair, you cannot be biased. You have to have the humanity side of you, and accountability, whether that news is something that can be trusted or not. Okay, so that is all for newsworthiness. I hope that everybody will understand this. By using all the points or the relevant points to judge the newsworthiness, this is where you can use it in order for you to write out your um, press release. Okay. Hope that to see you again in the next chapter. With that, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.